You guys the Secretary highlighted the first sentence of the fact sheet, new information, much of which originates from RT employees. That language goes beyond what the Department of Justice said last week. So could you talk about some of the sourcing on this information? And then on the crowdfunding program, how do you know that that's not just the RT Deputy Editor-in-Chief helping zealously the soldiers he believes are actually defending Russia? How do you know it goes beyond that? And the PRC stuff, is that just dual use, or are you alleging that those are PRC weapons that actually went to Russian soldiers via RT? Thanks.
I'll try. That's a tough question, and you know it's a tough question. Normally, unless you work over in Langley or in other intelligence facilities of this government, we don't normally tell you how we know something. Suffice it to say, as Secretary Blinken pointed to, one of the hallmarks of this administration, as you may have seen in Time magazine, is the ability of our National Security Advisor, our Director of the CIA, and the Director of National Intelligence to downgrade information related to the war in Ukraine, and how remarkable that was, and how remarkable it's been, and how remarkable it will continue to be. Suffice it to say that at the GEC, I work with all members of this government. I have a military team, I have an intelligence team, I have State Department officials, and I have teams from other part of the government. This is government information. You can draw your own conclusions as to how much more specific, but I think what the Secretary was pointing to is that some of these things have been admitted themselves by the leaders of RT, and that doesn't mean that just because someone admitted something, it's not new information, because it's new when it's put in its proper context. And that's the word that we officials love, that you guys generally don't love, because it allows us to go on too long. But more seriously, the RT's leadership in its most recent interview has acknowledged that their job is to do what the Kremlin tells them to do. And we're giving you examples of what they're telling them to do that have nothing to do with broadcasting, even broadcasting lies and disinformation.
On the China,
on the weapons. Yeah. So the significant thing, so I'd just say in short, no, we're not going to tell you more than the Secretary said on who said what. On the weapons, China is a major supplier. Much of the crowdsourcing, the thing that's significant is it was done covertly. So it wasn't just some, employees putting on a telethon. And it was done covertly, so they could purchase, in some cases, yes, individual arms. So in this case, we have no indication that China knew that this was being directed by the Russian government, or that the end users were Russian soldiers. So that line we have across.
And it was Chinese weapons, or it sounds like it was like Chinese drones and R&D. It's like more dual use.
There were some individual soldiers' arms involved in the crowd forcing.
Some of this equipment has been sourced from the PRC. That doesn't mean the PRC government knows, to include reconnaissance drones made by PRC-based entities and R&D support in the production of said drones in coordination with the Russian Ministry of Defense.
Just one quick